Hello, good evening. I am Maddie of Maddie Pulling Travel, and tonight we're going over the budget masterclass. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share the presentation with you guys. So, welcome to the budget travel masterclass. Like I said, I'm Maddie of Maddie Pilling Travel. I am a solopreneur, a little entrepreneur, and I am a travel consultant slash coach. And I work to help people plan their trips all over the world. Now, this masterclass is going to focus all around budget travel and exactly the tools that I provide to every single one of my clients, and I use myself whenever I go on vacation. So, what are we going to cover today? Today, we're going to go over the introduction to the topic, the pre-trip monthly budget, our pre-trip budget, expense tracking, post-trip review. I'll take you guys through an example, and then what is the next step. In this master class, we're going to go over budgeting your monthly expenses today in order to save for a vacation. Then we're going to go over creating a travel budget and exactly the steps that it takes to do that, how to track your spending while you're actually traveling on the vacation, the importance of following up with that budget after the trip is over, and finally, how to put these steps into action, how to actually pull all these pieces together, and where to go with all of this information. So let's talk about the pre-trip monthly budget. Now, one of the tools that I'm going to provide you is the pre-trip monthly budget. This is essential to know exactly how much money you have coming in and how much money you have going out every single month. So in this category, you're going to enter in all of your income. If you have a spouse, you can enter in their income. If you're traveling with a friend, you could even, do this activity with them. Whatever your monthly incoming amounts are, you're going to put that in. If you get tips at your job, you can put that in. If you do random dog walking, you can enter that amount in as well. Everything that you have coming in gets entered into the income area. Then you have to go through your expenses, every single bill, every single shopping receipt, all the food you buy, all the online shopping that you do, every single thing that you expend your money on needs to get entered into this monthly tracker. You're also going to enter in different amounts towards what you want to save for certain things. And once you complete this activity, you're going to see exactly how much money you have coming in and coming out. A lot of people want to travel. They have this desire to travel, but they have no idea how much money they actually have to put towards this vacation. They just allow the money to act passively, and they know that they have a job, so that they know that they can afford the trip. But if you want to maximize your budget as well as be able to travel on multiple trips, doing the monthly budget is going to be essential for that long-term financial health and long-term travel potential. All right, so this is a really useful tool as well for you in the months leading up to the vacation to help you trim the fat in certain areas. Once you've identified the different expenses, you can see maybe you're spending a lot of money on online shopping. Maybe you're spending a lot of money on new dog toys. Whatever it is, you can really identify the areas of your life where you're spending more than you need to, and you can make those cutbacks in order to reallocate that money towards the vacation. I firmly believe that there is no reason that you will not be able to travel within the year if you complete this exercise completely and honestly. Every person is with a job is able to travel. Really, if you think about the cost of a coffee these days, it's at least $5. And if you spend $5 every day, even when you just go to work, that's $25 a week. That's $100 a month. And that's just on coffee. So that money could be reallocated towards a nice dinner and probably your whole food for an entire day of traveling. So if you can make coffee at home, you're now funding an entire day of eating and activities. Well, depending on how lean you want to travel, that could be an entire day on your vacation. So it's really important that you enter in everything honestly when you're completing this activity. The next step is creating the pre-trip budget. So there's two ways that you can complete your trip budget. The first is to work with what you have. Once you've completed that monthly tracker, you'll know exactly how much money you have coming in. You might know how much money you have already set aside in your accounts. And you're going to say, okay, I have $5,000 that I can allocate towards this vacation. Then you can work kind of backwards from there. You can say, this is how much my flights are going to be, how much my accommodations are going to be, how much I have for food and activities, and kind of break it down that way based on the budget. The other option that we have is the or track it. So if you're a person that just wants to travel, you don't have a set budget in mind, it's still really important to create a budget for you so you know how much you're going to be spending going in, and so you know how to plan for future travels and exactly how much money you're going to need for those other vacations, how many vacations you can take in a year, all these sorts of pieces coming together. So this is a really important tool, whether you have a specific budget in mind or you're just trying to figure out what the budget could be. Maybe you don't even have the money set aside for the vacation yet, but you can still go through the pre-trip budget to figure out exactly how much you're going to need in order to do that vacation. So at this stage, we're doing a lot of preliminary work of just finding, say, what the flight costs are to wherever you want to travel and entering in those amounts, just really simply trying to gather an idea of exactly how much you need to actually go on this vacation. All right, now we come down to expense tracking. So once you've actually gone on the vacation, it's really important to keep track of how much you're spending while you're on the trip, because I know that a lot of us don't do the follow-up of, okay, I'm going to go back into my visa receipts and I'm going to dig through everything and find it. The best way to track your expenses is to do it while you're traveling. So the first thing is to actually keep your receipts. This is really important come tax time as well. If you have a business or if you don't have a business, there's people in the Northwest Territories, we get a travel credit. So it's really important to ensure that you keep all of your receipts in order to track and prove that you went on this vacation. This is also a useful tool. If you don't want to enter the expense right in that moment, you can take the receipt and you can enter it in that night. So how do we actually enter in our expenses? The first one is an app that I personally use, recommend to my clients, and love. It's called Travel Spend. Now, it's a free app for one vacation at a time, and you can go in there and enter in every single expense by category and add notes, add whatever you want to kind of explain that expense. And then it keeps track of your daily costs, your total costs, and your costs by category. So super useful tool that you can use like right on the go. As soon as you buy something, you can pull up the app and enter in the expense. It also has some cool notifications and says, hey, you didn't enter your expenses today. So it will remind you to log those expenses. If you don't have, the desire to use an app, you're like, no, I got too many on my phone, I just want to track the old school way, a really easy way to do that is with an Excel or a Google spreadsheet. So you can have the Google app on your phone, you can have it like on the website if you have your computer with you, and you can create your own little spreadsheet of each day, or you can create a sheet of each category. However you want to break it up, you can simply log in your expenses onto a spreadsheet so that you're keeping track of it while you're on the trip. If you know that you're gonna enter all this in after the trip, that's great. But I do think it's really, really useful to be able to do it while you're traveling. It also really helps you stay aware of your travel budget and keep track of how much you've already spent up to that point. If you're traveling more than a few days, it's really easy to forget how much you've spent in total. And with credit cards these days, it's really easy to just tap your credit card and forget how much you're actually spending. So, on that note, with credit cards, you're able to easily set up credit card alerts. So, for myself, I have it set up as shopping limit of daily of $200. So, once I hit the $200 mark, I start getting ding alerts on my phone telling me, hey, you've hit your daily spend limit. Now, I am still able to use my card. That is just a personal notification that lets me know, hey, Maddie, you're going over budget. Stop tapping your credit card. And it is a really, really fun tool to use while you're on vacation and even at home if you love to spend money. So definitely set those up before your next vacation on all the cards that you're going to be using. Next, on to the post-trip review. Now, I just said this is something we all really struggle with. It's something I personally struggle with, but it's such an important step. Now, if you've done a really good job of tracking your expenses so far as you're on the trip, then this step is going to be so easy. That's why it's important to complete every single step. All right. So this post-trip review is so essential. When you get home, you need to actually pull out that budget that you made beforehand and now input your actual expenses. So you can pull up your travel spend app, break it down by category, and enter in those categories into the travel budget that you made at the beginning of the trip. Now, this is really, really key, like I said, for finding out how good you were at creating the budget. Did you actually stick to your budget? So that's going to help you know exactly how much the trip actually costed in the end. So adding up all the expenses that you paid for ahead of time and on the trip to get your total cost. This is really important for your personal financial management in terms of writing everything out and keeping track of how much money is going out on a certain vacation, and also the daily amount that you're spending on an average trip. This is really essential for future planning, so you'll know for your next budget where you need to make the adjustments so that you can fix your budget. Maybe you need to increase your amounts for the next trip, or you need to decrease your spending on the next trip. Whatever you spend now, you can't spend in the future. So it's really important to be able to track what you actually spent on the vacation and look at what you spent. Instead of just paying your credit card off and saying, oh, whatever, on to the next thing, it's really, really important to look and see, this is exactly how much I spent on food. This is exactly how much I spent on souvenirs, so that you can adjust things for your next vacation. This is also important if you're somebody that wants to go on multiple vacations. Most people, once they travel once, they want to keep going over and over again. So it's really important that you keep track of all of these things and you get a really good sense of how much it's costing you, ways that you can save so that you can have better and more successful vacations in the future that really stick to the budget that you make. So now that I've explained all of these different pieces, let's actually put them together. I'm going to go ahead and share with you the budget sheets that I use and provide to my clients. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull those up. Amazing. So here is the monthly budget sheet. So, like I said, before we are going to actually go on vacation, we need to make sure that we have enough money to go on that vacation. So, the first step is enter in your income X. So, you could enter in like Maddie's income, and that's where you'd put in exactly how much money you make in the month. There's a note there. If you're paid bi-weekly, you can enter in your paycheck separately or the total of both of those paychecks. Then income Y, that could be your partner's income. That could be any additional income if you have it. Like I said, say you're a dog walker, you can put in dog walking and how much you're going to make for it that month. So this is the budgeted amount, and then you have the actual amount. So at the beginning and end of each month, you can go ahead and create the budget and input your actuals from the previous month. So create the budget for the next month and say, oh, how did I do last month at the same time? So you get an accurate representation. So in here, we have an income of $3,000, which is awesome. So now is where you can go ahead and enter in the bills. So you can enter in everything that you have, whatever bills you have, you can go ahead and enter in there, put them into your budget. Like I said, enter in the actuals at the end of the month. Then variable expenses. So this is where you're going to put in your expected amount for groceries, shopping, your vehicle, anything like that. You can go ahead and enter in those amounts. And then we're going to go over to the right side of the page, which is our savings goal. So once we know our budgeted expenses are $2,250, and we know that our income is $3,000, we know how much money we have left over towards saving. All right, so this is where we are going to enter in things that we need to purchase, like birthday gifts. Maybe you're trying to buy a house. Maybe you want to go on vacation. Whatever your savings are, you can go ahead and enter them in here. Travel consultant, if you want to hire somebody like me to help your vacation, then you can go ahead and enter in that monthly expense in that category. Any extra debt that you have, if you have unpaid credit cards or vehicle payments, you can record those as well. If they're carried over and you're not making monthly payments on them, you can go ahead and note them there. And then you have your leftover amount, and that's going to show you exactly how much you did have left over if you didn't already allocate it towards your vacation in this step up here. All right, once you actually put your information into this, start inputting your numbers, you're going to see how it works. This is such an important step to find out, can I actually afford this vacation? And also, how much can I afford to put towards this vacation? And what do I need to cut back on expense-wise so that I can go on this trip? All right, now we're going to go ahead and move on to the trip budget. So this is the vacation budget sheet. Now that we've actually committed to a vacation or we're thinking about a vacation, we want to go ahead and figure out, okay, how much is this all actually going to cost with my monthly budget and my monthly income? Can I afford a trip to wherever I want to go? So say we're planning a trip to London. I'm just going to type in the destination. Say travel dates, we're going to go October 1st until October 2nd, till October 2nd. That would be the world's shortest trip. October 12th. All right, so that's going to populate. And then I'm going to go ahead and input my costs. Now, am I going to do it on my own? Am I going to do it with a group tour? That's an important question. So if I was doing a group tour, I would need to enter in to say it's cost $2,000 to do the group trip. I could put that in there. Any visas, as Canadians, we don't require a visa to go to London, but other countries will require a visa, or if we're going to some countries, we may require a visa. So it's important to remember that and put that in. If you need to complete any vaccinations, well, not for London, but some other places, you might need to up your vaccinations. If you need to purchase any suitcases ahead of time, like this is a really comprehensive list of expenses. And you can also go ahead and replace any categories that don't fit for you or add any categories that are missing. Maybe you're not having a host, so you don't need a gift to host, but in the preparation, you want to buy new outfits. So you could put like new clothes. Maybe you want a new swimsuit. Then you need to make sure that you enter that amount in and budget for it in the trip. Now, transportation, this really, again, goes through every category. So your airfares, your parking, car rentals, tolls, bus tickets, anything that you might encounter in transportation, enter that in there, depending on how you want to travel. If you're driving, if you're flying, everything, make sure you input it there. Then we go down to entertainment, any sort of tours that you're going on, any sort of museums you want to see might have an entry fee, so you can go ahead and plug those in. Again, if you're just in the preliminary phases and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure, you can do a quick Google search for how much does a museum cost in London, and I'm going there for 9 days, and I'll probably have time to see like 3 of them, say they cost £20, then I can go ahead and put in like $80. Well, the pound's a little bit higher, so we'll just say £60, $100 about. We're again just at the plugging stuff in stage. You can do this in as little or as much detail as you want. It's really about what's going to benefit you the most. If you're just in the ideas generation phase, you can do it really simply like this. Okay, $100. I'm not going to an amusement park. Do I want to go to an aquarium? No. Do I want to go to a theme park? No. Do I want to go to a nightclub? Yeah, probably. I'm going to put down like $20 because I might go one time. Okay, movies and shows. Oh, I want to go and see a theater show while I'm in London. Definitely want to do that. All right, let's budget $200 for that expense. So now I can see in the entertainment category, I'm already at $320. Say I was going to fly there, I could go ahead and just put in flying to Europe is going to be probably $1,000, but we're going to put in $1,200 just to give ourselves a little bit of breathing room. Now, we don't have bus tickets specifically, but we will have to buy a pass for the tube, which is going to cost us at least €60. So again, we're going to budget probably $120 for public transportation. Now we have to go into our shopping. Do you want to buy a souvenir for every single person in your family? Then you need to budget a little more than if you're the kind of person that's like, no, I'm going on the vacation. Why does anybody else need my money? So let's just throw down $50 so we have room if you want to do any shopping while you're there, if you want to rent anything while you're there, if you want to buy anything at the duty free. Sometimes people use this as an opportunity to buy things on the way through, buy their drinks while they're on their way through. So say you spend $100 there, make sure you're allocating. If you've purchased any travel medical insurance, which you definitely purchase, that would probably run you about $100 for the trip. If you've insured any of your personal belongings, this is an optional coverage, but if you're traveling with expensive items like your laptop or jewelry or something like that, and you just want that extra comfort, you can purchase this additional insurance. Trip cancellation insurance, often included in your flight bundle or on your visa when you book. but you also need to allocate for that. And then we get into food or drink. So this is where it really depends on your taste. Are you the kind of person that's going to get an Airbnb and then cook all your food? Are you the kind of person that's going to eat out all the time? It's really important to think these things through and budget for that. Say in one day on snacks, I might spend $10 a day. I'm there for 9 days, so that's $90, right? Bottled drinks. Oh, I like a pop every day. So $4 a day times 5 days, we're adding up really quick. Breakfast, same thing. So you're going through each one of these with a lot of thought into how much you're going to eat, how much you're going to drink, and how many groceries you're going to buy. So really think about the way that you travel and be honest with yourself about what it's really going to cost. And then this is where we get into lodging. You might only have one of these categories, or you might have multiple. Fill them in as required. Like I said, you can always add or take away categories as needed. So we've already gone over the monthly step. We've gone over the travel budget step. And then you're going to go on the vacation. You're going to track the spending. You're going to do it by category. That way, when you get back from the vacation, it's really, really easy to plug those numbers in. You can break it down, like I said, every single meal here, or you can simplify it even more and just say, okay, how much did I spend on food, and input the total amount. It's really up to you, but it is really important that you come back to this step and enter in your actual amounts. Okay, I looked at my travel spend app and I actually spent a lot more than I expected on souvenirs. I spent 80. But maybe on your snacks, oh, I wasn't as snacky as I thought because their portions were bigger than I expected. So I actually only spent $35 on my snacks. So once you go through it, you can really see how the things are adding and subtracting. Did I actually meet my goal in each category? Was I way over? Was I way under? You won't really know until you take yourself through the activity and try it out for yourself. So thank you very much for joining in this workshop, this masterclass on budget travel. What's next? Well, I do have a masterclass coming up next Friday, the exact same time, exact same place, for free bucket list travel. Please go ahead and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, where I'm dropping travel tips, travel bucket list locations, and travel inspiration every single day for you. You can also check out my website, travelerofthenorth.com, where I am publishing various travel blogs all about traveling in Northern Canada. And you can always shoot me an email with any questions or feedback at maddiePillingTravel@gmail.com. I hope this has been a great workshop, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.